Inclined person. Call this number. I called the number. The guy lived over in Crafton. He was a supervisor in Pittsburgh for the milk company. Pure Pack Service Department, Excella Corporation.
Excella.
So I went to school for 2 months in Detroit. Graduated there. I had Carol out there for a couple weeks. Graduated there and went on the road. They gave me a car, expensive car. And I traveled around for 6 months installing machinery, making work, production, milk. I accepted a territory in West Virginia. I had it for 2 weeks. I got sick driving up and down the mountains, so I had to give it up. I couldn't take it anymore. So I was back on the road again, and then another territory opened up in New Jersey. So I went down to New Jersey and I took that territory. And I not only had Farmington, New Jersey, but it went from New Jersey right through the 5 boroughs of New York, right into Maine, all the way up into Boston, Maine.
And this is maintaining that equipment, or were you teaching people to maintain it?
It was both. And up there, a paper company offered me a job. By then, I was building a reputation. So I said, yeah, I'll take that job. Good money, car, unlimited expenses. But by the time I got back to New Jersey, they already had hired somebody, and nobody knew it. So that fell through. Then I got contacted again by another company, paper company out of Arkansas. And they flew me down there in the middle of the forest, treetop high.
Paper company.
Flying over their forest for I don't know how many hours. Landed in the middle of the forest, stayed in a log cabin overnight, toured the mill, stunk like hell. How they make paper, you know.
Yeah, paper
might.
Yeah.
We've been in cities
Georgia,
where they do this.
Down
Stinks.
in Georgia, it smells.
And went back. They said, you're hired. Okay. So I gave them a notice to go to the company. So then I was my own boss. I had the same territory, but I was on a paper end. Instead of the machine end, now I'm on a paper end. But I was still working on the machines too. So after a while, a year or so, the president went on a European tour. Vice president took over and closed down one shop, one operation. I was working for that operation. I was out of a job. So I go back home, open up my book, and that's when I went to Buffalo, New York. Company hired me from Reading as an engineer. So I went to New York, or not New York, Lackawanna, New York, which is a suburb of Buffalo. And I stayed up there for 2.5 years, building a 8-inch bar mill. And I think I got fired from that job. I got fired from a lot of jobs.
Yes.
Well, I didn't take any shit from anybody.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. Ask anybody. Anyway, I got fired. I don't know. I guess I went to work for McGraw-Hill. I went out there and they had an ad in the paper. I went out there and about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I took a battery of tests and I was leaving the office, the building, when this guy comes running out the door after me. Come on over here, I want to talk to you. So anyway, I got hired there as an engineer. I went to work every day out there. I went in a plant, found out how they built transformers, and so on. Then I went out into the field.
And when you say a transformer, you're talking about a big transformer?
Yeah,
Like as big as a bus.
it's big
Those
as a house.
transformers.
Big as a house.
Whoa.
Big. They send you out in the field with somebody who's been doing it for years, so they teach you the ropes. And with their recommendation, if they feel you can do the job, then they turn you loose. And I worked for them for about a year, I guess. When another company calls me out, and I was in Massachusetts putting in a transformer, and a guy from Arkansas calls me in Massachusetts. Must have called my home. See, at that time we had books with every picture of an employee in that company was in that book. So he knew my address and my phone number. He called me and said, "You want a job?" I said, "Doing what?" He says, "Paper company, Toots Paper Company." Can't even think of the name of the company now. But anyway, I said, "Well, I got to think about it." He says, "I don't have time to think about it. Do you want the job or not?" I said, "Well, I got to talk to you. I got to see you." He said, "Jump a plane and meet me down here at the airport, Chicago." So I did. He says, I'll have a milk carton in my hand. It wasn't full of milk, it was flat, you know, and he had it in his hand. I didn't have his picture, but he had my picture. So he hired me on the spot. I'm working for him. He lives in Arkansas, and I don't answer to anybody but him. So I had a free hand of what I did in the field. And I made a lot of enemies because they had a problem with the press and they ran cartons on it, and I had leakers. And they said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Put a plug in it. Do this, do that." Well, this went on for a couple months. I finally exploded. I called my boss and I says, "I quit this goddamn job. I'm getting a runaround from this Arkansas asshole who took over the plant on here." Whoa, what do you mean? I told him what was going on. He says, "You could go in that plant and make all the changes you want to make." I said, "You're kidding." He said, "No, I'm not kidding." I said, "You come with me so I don't get shot." He said, "No, I can't." He says, "I'm busy down here." I says, "Okay, well, I got to do something about it because these customers are on my back." And, you know, you can only lie to somebody so many times. So I went in that plant, and as soon as the production was over, I got the maintenance man, and the plant manager was in his office. I told him what I was going to do. He made a dozen phone calls and didn't do any good. And me and the maintenance man found a die that was giving us a problem, and I made a change. And we ran some blanks. I went the wrong way. So I made another adjustment and hit it right on the nose. I ran some blanks and it was perfect. And the next day, or that day, when I started production, they ran those blanks, and I took a shipment right to that dairy. It was giving me a problem. They were satisfied. So that solved that problem. But I made a lot of enemies in Arkansas and people running that plant because nobody ever treated them like that before. And,
But you fixed it.
I fixed it. I was doing my
Saved the
job.
company a lot of hell of money.
I did my job. But anyway, after that, well, I lost that job, right? But after that,
Now the sun's up. The force is exposed to the next phase of the German counterattack.
well, I went back to Tippins as a foreman,
Staff Sergeant Bill Story
and
Is that the one in Melville?
yeah,
arrives on the mountain with his headquarters detachment. He soon learns to keep his
and it was tight. I thought they were going to close up, so I moved across the river to another plant, guys that I knew, Boilermakers. I went to work for them as a foreman, and I stayed there for a while, and I got fired on that job. So I got a job in New Kensington as a maintenance engineer. And the guys that fired me at Monroe swore to God I was the best guy they ever saw. They lied like hell. Anyway, I was up there for about six or so years, and I had 33 people working for me, 3 shifts. I had a secretary, carpenter, 5 machinists, 4 electricians, and the rest were maintenance men, welders. So that was when the gas was sky high
70s.
and the Japs were buying up all the equipment. They bought a lot of our stuff. So they told me I had the same job in Chillicothe, Ohio. So I went to Chillicothe.
I remember that. You wanted to move.
Well,
I
good thing
refused to
did.
go. I remember that.
That's when I bought that trailer,
Yeah.
and I was up there for about 2 years. And I had a big fallout with the plant manager. He said, "You know, I can get an electrical engineer, and he'll make the same money you're making." I said, "Go ahead," and he did. So I got fired. I got back to Pittsburgh. I had Scott bring his truck up. We brought the trailer in, and that's when the trailer ended up your place.
Yeah, everything ends up in my place.
And this was right around Easter, I think, because Carol and Jennifer and me jumped on a plane, and we went to see John in California.
I remember that.
John made a dinner, lamb or pork chops or something, I don't know. And gave me Jennifer's old Toyota. I wanted to go see Kathy.
Kathy's Toyota, the Celica?
Yeah. Kathy's Toyota.
That Celica ran forever.
And they were in Yuma, Arizona.
Oh my God, across the desert.
So we jumped in the car and drove to Yuma, Arizona.
Like 8 hours?
Oh, no. 5, 6 hours. And stayed there overnight, and we started talking. So we decided to go to the Grand Canyon.
That night?
Well, we decided we were going to the Grand Canyon. So the next day, we left.
In the Celica.
Well, Kathy took her car too. And Willie drove the Toyota. I don't know why, but he did. And it was straight north. Colorado River was right there. We drove right up interstate. Stopped at some goddamn place that it was in California, and it was a little shitting town, but they were just building a casino. And we stopped there. We were wore out. We then got a room, went to the top floor where there's plastic all over the place. They're still building, still working. It's hammering, saws. $30 cost us for two suites. Couldn't believe it. So I took $100, and Carol took $100, and we went down to the casino. Never intended to win, but that was all I was going to lose. So went down there. That's when I had that 1 hour bandits. Oh, I played them son of bitches for 5 or 6 hours. My arm was numb. And I lose, and then I'd win. And then I lose, and I'd win. Back and forth, back and forth. Finally, I started playing 6 or 7 machines at one time. I lost it all, went to bed. Carol went to bed way before I did. I couldn't wait to get the hell out of there. Anyway, we didn't go any further north to. Oh yeah, we went to the Grand Canyon. After that, we went to the Grand Canyon, and got up there, saw the canyon, got in the car to come back, and a goddamn clutch went out on a Toyota. So Willie didn't know what to do. You know, I said, well, let the girls go ahead. We'll meet you here. I said, Willie, get behind the wheel, and I'm going to go like hell, pushing the car, and you ram it into high gear. I got him going about 10 mile an hour, pushing it. He rammed it into high gear.
Did you jump in?
Yeah, I jumped in. I jumped in.
It's like a
We
little
drove
sunshine.
Flagstaff, Arizona. And went into a Midas muffler place. I got a problem with the transmission. What's it doing? It ain't doing nothing. We'll get it on a rack, get up in the air. And this guy, the system, started looking. And I'm looking too, you know. What the hell is this? What's this? Guy broke a line loose. Broke another line loose. Going to the transmission. He's shaking his head. By then the boss comes up. And he looked at these lines. He said, that transmission has to come out. I looked at Willie. I said, this isn't my car. We got to go back and see the owner. Put those lines back together and get me to help push me out onto the road. So they did. And then by then the girls went flying by. And I'm pushing a car again. Willie never offered to push me. I jumped in the car and away we go. And we drove again. Willie and we went to Phoenix, Arizona. We went right into town to a fast food place, and we filled up. And here we are in the middle of town, and I got to push Willie out into the street through an intersection where he can get on a highway. And I did. And we got all the way back to Yuma, Yuma, Kathy's house. Went to bed. I called John, called him the son of a bitch, give me a goddamn car, fell apart.
Oh my God! No wonder.
I told him what happened. He says, I'll be out in the morning to look at it. I had another beer, another shot, and went to bed. I woke up about 7 o'clock, him pounding on the goddamn door. He already had the car fixed. What the hell did you do? He says, I bought a kit for it. What the? It's a hydraulic clutch. Okay, it runs on oil. They had 2 little slave cylinders about this big. One slave cylinder pushed another slave cylinder. Well, they were dry. So we rebuilt the 2 slave cylinders, put the oil in, and the car ran like new.
And those Einsteins at the Midas Muffler Shop were going to
They
give
knew
you a
what
whole
it
new.
was. They knew what
Yeah.
it was. Well, after a couple of days, we drove back to California and came back to Pittsburgh, and I opened up the paper. Engineering job in Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Landover, Maryland. So I gave that guy a call, and he wanted to see me right away. I said, wait, I can't come down here right away. I said, what about tomorrow? And I said, wait a minute. I'm not coming down there to work, I'm coming down to look. I got a trailer I had to bring down there, and so on, if I'm going to take the job. So Scott took me down there. I got hired. And then when Scott went back home and brought the trailer. Put the trailer in a resort. And I went to work for them. Now I worked for them for about a year when they decided to move to Philadelphia. I wasn't going to Philadelphia, so I opened up my book again. Safeway Dairy. I know. I used to work there.
Safeway.
Safeway. I looked the engineer's name. I know that guy. I was out drinking with him. I gave him a call. I says, I want to talk to the plant engineer. All right. I get the plant engineer on the phone. I says, how you doing? This is Walt. Walt who? Walter Black. I'll be goddamn. What are you doing here? I'm looking for a job. Well, come on down here. I said, wait a minute. I can't just run down here. Come on down there if you want a job.
When they got a plant to run, they want you right away.
I was hired right like that. No physical, no nothing. I went down there and worked for them for 5 years. I went in there when I was 50. I come out at 55. And they closed down 100 stores, grocery stores, that weren't making enough money. So of that 100 stores was one shift of milk, 100,000 gallons.
Wow.
So I was one of the 100.
What year was this?
Oh, I can't.
80s?
I get them mixed up.
He's 55.
No,
80s?
he was working that job when I met you. So
So
that was in
close
the
to
90s.
Oh,
I was
nice.
gonna say, I think in the
Early
90s.
I get them mixed
Yeah.
up.
And what'd you do after that? after
So
Safeway?
maybe
Because I
early
remember these
90s.
names when you say
We
who
went
you
down
work
to
for.
visit them a couple times. And,
Yeah, yeah.
Scott ran you over at Tiffins.
Yeah.
Now you're at Safeway.
Yeah.
we were on the boulevard once in his truck and had a car pull up next to us with crowbars or something saying, you're in Walt's truck, you son of a bitch, we hate that son of a bitch. And started screaming at us.
Yeah.
And then Scott lifted his crowbar up or whatever and he said, come on. I'm like, oh my God.
I made a lot of enemies. No
Yeah,
doubt
I
about
know you did.
it. But that's
Well, you
all
gotta
part of the
stand up.
job.
That's the union guys are rough, you know?
You gotta stand up for
Too
it.
bad.
Yeah.
So am I.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So after Safeway.
I got fired at Safeway, along with 100 other people, and they handed me 5 checks or something like that. One check was
Like a severance or something.
$49,000, almost $50,000. Then I had my regular paycheck. I had overtime check, and then I had check for sick days I didn't use. Well, I never had that before anyway, but I had it there.
Yeah.
And another check, I don't know what the hell that was for. But I needed a guard with all the goddamn money I had. But anyway, I went home and I tried to get a job for a year. I traveled everywhere, and the company picked up a lot of those expenses.
Thank you.
Are you sure?
Couldn't get a job. So I went to work for that trucking company. What the hell is the name of that?
JB Hunt.
J.B. Hunt. That's right. They put me to school.
Yeah. I remember that too. Do you remember that? Yeah.
I remember seeing those trucks and being like, oh, that's Grandpa's
Grandpa,
truck.
my
Yeah.
grandpa's truck. Yeah, we were looking for it every time we drove anywhere.
I went to work for them, and I worked for 4 or 5 other companies too, because I wasn't satisfied with the money. And then I ended up here at your
And my uncles.
your uncle. Well, that was somewhere else. That was in the between jobs. But I mean, up 19 there.
You had that
you
job
were
up there.
at,
Yeah, I know
What
what you're
about
talking about.
Taiwan? When did he go to Taiwan?
Yeah,
Indonesia.
Remember something like that?
Indonesia? Was that
J&M?
Indonesia? What was that?
That's
What
after the
was
truck.
that?
That's after the trucking
Is
goes. You're
that
driving a
after
truck, and then they call you back for Thailand and Singapore.
Or
Oh, I forgot all about
Indonesia.
How the hell did that happen? That was
Yeah,
while
one
you
of
were
the
driving a
countries
truck,
where it's
right?
like one of those countries.
I was coming back from California, and my phone rang, and I answered it. It was some lady. She said, "I've been trying to get a hold of you for a couple of days." I said, "Well, you got me.
What do you want?
Spit it out. What do you want?
My husband wants to talk to you." I will put him on the phone. "Well, he ain't here right now."
That's weird.
I said, "Well, look, I'm driving. I'm kind of busy. Give me a call a little later, okay?" And I hung up. Phone rang a couple hours later, and the guy says, "You want a job?" I said, "Doing what?" He said, "I got a job in Indonesia." He says, "I work for Tippins." He says, "I got a job in Indonesia, and I can't get anybody to go." I said, "Well, you mean to tell me you're working for Tippins, and you got all those people on the floor, and nobody wants to go to Indonesia?" He said, "That's right." I said, "What kind of money you paying?" He told me. What about this and this and this? I said, "I have to think about it. I'll call you tomorrow." So tomorrow I called him back and I said, "This is what I want." And I told him. He said, "No problem." And I told him, and no problem. Everything I said was no problem.
Did you even know where the hell Indonesia was?
Woo! Indonesia, wow, it's so
So
fun.
I says, I'll be in, he says, can you be in here Friday? And this is like Thursday, you know.
And you got a
I
full
said,
truck.
no, I can't be in here Friday. I says, I'm wore out from driving. And tomorrow I get in, I got to rest. But I'll see you Saturday. He says, okay. So I get cleaned up when I go over there on a Saturday. And he's not in the plant anymore. They send me across the street into a brand new building. Must have been 100 offices in there. I said, holy hell, Tippins must be in the money. So I go in there and tell the receptionist who I am. So, oh, we're waiting for you. You are. Grabs me by the hand, takes me upstairs. Down this long hallway. I'm looking at all these people. I don't recognize anybody. And then I look in there and I see that guy, little skinny guy. I knew that son of a bitch. And on his desk he had a thing that said, Vice President, General Manager,
CEO.
something else. I don't know. So he sees me, he's waving in. Come on in, Walt. So I go in there, and now I recognize him. The guy used to work for me.
He used to work for you.
He used to work for me on a floor in Tippins.
Uh-huh.
I said, Christ, I don't know whether to kiss you or salute you or what. He said, by the way, you're hard. There I go again.
No problem.
No background check, no physical, no nothing. I'm hard. He says, I want you to get down on the floor and familiarize yourself with the levels. They got new different type of level. He gave me the number of the drawings. He said, you're going to be in Indonesia in a month or something like that. He says, we're going to get you, gave me some paperwork or something. I had to go across the street and for my visa and what's that other?
Passport.
Passport. So the passport usually takes a couple weeks or something. But they gave somebody a couple $1,000 and it was there the next day.
Aye.
So
You should have known that guy. You could have gone here quicker.
I packed up my old dirty suitcase that I'd been dragging around for 30 years. Bought myself a hot plate,